Hey everybody, welcome back to H&S Collectibles. This is Cody. So it's time for another poor review of a poor movie. And this one was actually a request from a viewer. Traveling Shoes commented and said to review Stealth from 2005. So Stealth is a 2005 kind of aerial combat movie, if you will, about pilots and AI, starring Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, Jamie Foxx, and Joe Morton, Sam Shepard, and directed by Rob Cohen. I had to look over there to see who the director was. So basically, the story is you've got three of the best pilots in the world flying for the Navy. And I think something in the beginning tickled me that they were flying for the. It said they were flying for the Naval Air Force. And I'm pretty sure there's not a Naval Air Force. There's the Air Force or the Navy. So anyway, semantics. Someone can correct me on that if you want. But anyway, three of the best pilots flying these new kind of prototype aircraft, and they're going to be sent to a carrier to do some more work. The captain running the project tells them that they have a fourth pilot coming. They all complain about it, and the pilots are Josh Lucas. He's kind of like the head pilot, if you will, the commander. Jessica Biel, kind of a love interest between the two, even though it doesn't get going right away, and then Jamie Foxx. And they go with the carrier. They're arguing. They don't want a fourth person in their unit. They think they're a good team like they are. And the fourth person shows up, and it is an empty aircraft. So the captain has been working with this kind of genius software developer, and he has developed an AI that can control an airplane. And they want the three pilots to train it because it's a learning computer. And they call him Eddie, EDI. I forget what it stands for. But anyway, they call him Eddie. And they fly some practice missions. They're impressed by what the drone can do. Lucas takes great offense to it, though, because he thinks that we cannot be replaced in war. You can't have your war decisions made by something autonomous. It doesn't have the gut feelings. It doesn't have the instincts. It doesn't have the moral judgment. It doesn't have, all those kind of things. And so he's against it. He does not like the idea. They fly a mission. They get told, here's an emergency mission. There's like 3 terrorists in this building. We need you to go bomb it. So they're going to go bomb it. But when they get there to bomb it, there's a lot of civilians around the building, and the building has a concrete top. It's kind of bomb proof, if you will. And they're going to scrap the mission, but then Eddie speaks up and tells them that, well, wait a minute, if somebody flies up high and then comes down at like Mach 3 to give the missile some extra push, it can bust through the roof, destroy everything, and not harm any civilians. And Josh Lucas does it, disobeys orders, and does it because the captain back home is telling him to let Eddie do it, but he wants to do it, so he does it. And boom, a successful mission. They kill the terrorists, no problem. They're heading back to the boat, and as they're coming in for a landing, lightning hits Eddie and messes up his computer, messes up his software. And you already, see what's coming. So, and when I said captain, that's the character played by Sam Shepard. So, he's running the project. There's a captain of the carrier that they're on, which is Joe Morton. And Joe Morton is the same actor who played Dyson in Terminator 2. So I just thought it was funny that, in 2 different movies where where an AI turns evil, there's Joe Morton in the middle of it, so maybe we should do something about him. But at any rate, they go on another mission. Eddie's still acting strange, and Eddie disobeys because they decide that they can't complete this next mission without harming villagers nearby. They're going to destroy some nukes that some terrorists stole. And Eddie disobeys an order and drives the attack. They're successful in destroying the nukes. They're successful in killing the terrorists, but a wave of radioactive dust washes over the village, and it's going to flow into Pakistan. This huge international incident, all because Eddie disobeyed orders. And when asked about it, when pushed why, Eddie's response to Josh Lucas is, "Well, I'm doing the same thing you did. I'm learning. I learned from you." So they decide that they have to get him back to the carrier. They need to talk him down, and this is where I think at least to me, the silly parts of the movie start up. So they start chasing him, and even though they've got radios, so Jamie Foxx is the closest one to Eddie. Spoilers coming. For some reason, he thinks he needs to be right alongside of him to talk to him. I don't know why. The other two are like miles back and can still hear each other and hear Jamie Foxx. So I don't know why Jamie Foxx thinks that he needs to be like within 6 feet of this thing for it to hear him. But in doing so, following too close, pursuing it too closely, trying to kind of dogfight with it, Jamie Foxx ends up getting killed. And it's not so much that Eddie kills him. Jamie Foxx was too close and didn't pull up in time, that kind of a thing. So kind of, from behind they were warning him to, back up, you're too close, pull back, whatever. He ended up really killing himself when you looked at it. But Eddie certainly didn't help. And Eddie, make a long story short, because that's the other thing with this movie. As I watched it, was I kept hoping it would just go ahead and end, because you could just kind of see what was coming. It was a very cookie cutter kind of plot. So Jessica Biel gets shot down, or her plane gets damaged enough that she has to punch out. She's over in North Korea. She lands in North Korea. Josh Lucas continues to fight with Eddie. Never does get him back to the ship, but ends up chasing him down and saving him. So Eddie has an issue. Eddie gets damaged and he's on fire, and Josh Lucas manages to put the fire out for him. And so Eddie starts to trust Josh Lucas based on that. So I'm going to just pause right there on the action going on with them. Now, back on the boat, the captain running the project, Sam Shepard's character, he's calling his contact back in Washington. They want to make this whole thing go away, so they need to do a few things. They need to erase Eddie's memory. They need to kill the other two pilots. They need to erase all evidence, blah, blah, blah. So he's crooked. He's fighting against him. He tells Josh Lucas's character for him and Eddie to go to this kind of secret base in Alaska, and these people are going to take care of you. Wrong. Turns out those people are mercenaries, kind of, guns for hire, working for the captain. And they have flown in the guy that designed Eddie. They want him to erase the memory, and he's working with Eddie, and he finds out that Eddie feels guilty, basically, about what has happened, and then wants to save him. So there's a big fight with the mercenaries and Josh Lucas and Eddie, and at that point, Josh Lucas gets inside of Eddie in the cockpit, and they both fly off together to go save Jessica Biel. And one thing I thought was funny about Jessica Biel being in North Korea, so she starts getting pursued by the military, and in these kind of movies, I just really like it when you can pick out the leader. So all these North Koreans land in a couple of helicopters, and they all get out, and they're all wearing helmets, and they're all wearing gear, but there's this one guy without a helmet, and he's got a shitty haircut. And I think, he's our on-screen representation of like Kim Jong Un or Kim Jong Il, or whichever one. I guess it would have been Kim Jong Un, or was it Kim Jong Il? I don't know, but the older one that would have been in power in 2005. It's like, okay, that guy's in charge. He's got a shitty haircut. Was my first thought. I just suddenly got a kick out of it. And apparently, he's also some kind of expert, almost expert sniper. He shoots her from a long ways away, hurts her, slows her down. She manages to shoot him when they get close to her. And, 30, 40 soldiers running around. Their leader gets shot. They all scramble to help him while the wounded person that they're chasing gets away. More of that kind of action movie tropes. But finally, at the end, Josh Lucas lands with Eddie at the Korean borders. She's going to get over into South Korea. They end up fighting the guy with the bad haircut, some of the soldiers. They waste them all. A helicopter full of soldiers shows up, and in order to save Josh Lucas and Jessica Biel, Eddie takes off and sacrifices himself, blows himself up with the helicopter to save them so they can get away to safety. Then they have then we cut right to a memorial on the ship deck for Jamie Foxx, with about a 4x8 picture of him on the deck with everybody saluting it. I've never been in the belly of an aircraft carrier. Maybe they have a Kinko's. Maybe they have a printing capacity like that. I'm not sure. There was that. And then I went ahead and fast forwarded because I just wondered. I just got the feeling there was a little post-credit scene where you see Eddie's main computer drive, if you will, turn back on in the wreckage. So Eddie's not dead. But they, as far as I know, they never bothered with a sequel. So this movie, I don't know if I would put this movie in that category of a poor movie. It was just your typical kind of bland action / sci-fi kind of movie. I think this is my first time viewing it. I think if I had watched it in 2005 when it came out, it would have probably been easily forgotten by now. It would have not been a movie that was on my mind. It's just kind of middle of the road for me. I didn't hate it, didn't like it. I do have Blu-ray of it now. And I think that Blu-ray is probably going to go on the giveaway pile at some point. I don't know if I need to hang on to this. It only cost me $4 used, and it's also a double feature with some other movie. I forget which one, so I need to check that movie out and see if I like it or not, see if it's worth hanging on to. But yeah, just did not do anything for me, but at the same time is not the worst thing I've watched. Certainly not the worst thing I've reviewed on here. So if you want an hour and a half of explosions and dogfights and Jamie Foxx kind of acting like a pompous ass through most of the movie. I mean, I like him, but I didn't really care for his character much in this movie. This is the movie for you. Josh Lucas, my only issue with Josh Lucas, I said in the stream the other night, Josh Lucas played the bad guy in the Eric Bana version of the Hulk. That's the movie I remember him from, so when I look at him, I don't like him. I can't help it. I don't know why I'm that way with some actors. It's kind of like, when you see a good example might be Miguel Ferrer, however you say his name, from RoboCop and from Deep Star 6. He always plays a little bit of a dick. And even if you find a movie where he's playing a good guy, you're just waiting on when he's going to be a dick again. Same goes for like F. Murray Abraham. He's always a bad guy. Certain people just have that impression on you, and Josh Lucas in Hulk did that for me. So, yeah, just look at him on the screen, and I'll wait for him to be a bad guy. I don't know. So anyway, that's enough. I'm rambling now. I'm going to stop there. Everybody stay safe, take care of each other. Come back for another bad review later. If you got a movie that you think is a poor movie, deserving of a poor review, comment below. I always love suggestions. And that's all. Come back and see me. Thanks.